What's going on, guys? 2015 F150 doing the stereo review. Finally got it hooked up. Try to keep this short and sweet. I got a lot of photos of when I was doing the install, so you can check that out when this ends. Factory 8-inch head unit, kept that. Swapped out the tweeters, all the door speakers, all kicker stuff. I did run new speaker wire to all the speakers there, and I don't recommend it. Mostly from these right here. In the back it was easy, but the front one, they're not that hard once you figure out how to take them off. It's just a matter that there's you'll see in the pictures there's two areas for wires to run through, so really there's no room for your new speaker wire to be ran through there, and you definitely don't want to rig it and run it, outside here. You want it going through this so it's weather tight and it looks factory. I'll show you on the pictures what I did. It's a little bit of modification of just drilling out the side of the inner plastic piece in here so you have room for your wire to run through there. The back is easy because there's a top and bottom where the wires come through, and you can just use the bottom to drill a hole through the plastic and feed your wire down through there. This is my sub box install. I got a 2016 CX A600 by 5. Really good amp, perfect for this. I built a little rack right here, just at a 1/2-inch MDF, and then just wrapping it with a carpet. This is the first time I wrapped the box with a carpet. I've built plenty of sub boxes before. First time trying the carpet, I think I did an alright job. All my wires are kind of ran a little long right now because I wasn't sure about amp placement. I was going to try it out. Everything seems to work good. I like the functionality that I get to keep. This really, if you're storing anything, you throw it right here and grab it first. I got pictures of the design of my box. You can see a little gap right here. I think it was about 3/4 or an inch in here for the subs to move up and down. Get on the other side. You can see how it sits nice and flush under there, so it doesn't stick past the seat. Looks pretty good. Flip this thing up. 2 kicker 2016 CVTs. They work great for this setup. Box really worked out, so I left this little ledge because they're down firing, so it won't get in the way there. Angled the box here for the seat. Sits nice and flat, and then back here you're going to want to just bevel that back corner there where it sits right here, so it sits a little flatter in the back. Real clean install so far. I mean, love the 5-channel amp. That's definitely what you want for this. I got a picture of all the product that I used for this setup. Install was pretty straightforward. It kind of took me a while because I'm in Florida and it's hot as hell when I was doing this. Really just running the wires for the new speakers. That's the only thing I really don't recommend. You can use the factory wire that's already ran. Door panels come off real easy. Biggest thing is just running that wire and getting this proper. Make sure it's locked in tight and how it was factory. And then the power wire was a little bit of a challenge. I'll talk about that here in a second. Speaker wire though, I mean, I got some real nice kicker speakers, but if you really think about it, The back speakers are at 4 ohms. You know, and that 600 by 5 isn't a huge amp. So if you do the recommended wattage, you're really not utilizing the bigger gauge speaker wire that I ran. Up front, I think we're good in the back. I just got to run the remote bass control whenever I figure out where I want to put that. Up in the front though, I tied in the tweeter into the front door speaker, so these two are at 2 ohms, so I'm getting full range on my amp for these speakers, and everything sounds phenomenal. Just got to remember when you're doing a factory tie-in, you know, aftermarket head units, they really send a better quality signal. What we're doing here is using that harness. I got pictures I'll post. I forget the number of it. The harness to tie in to the back of the speaker outputs, so you can run the signal. And I use the kicker Kissel for that amp. So I just ran speaker wire pretty much. It's not, you know, high grade twisted kicker RCAs that you would get with an aftermarket. You know, I know the aftermarket have, I think, higher voltage coming out of the preamp. So that's running back to the amp. You just got to remember that the quality is going to be a little bit inferior to an aftermarket setup, but definitely a huge upgrade from what I had. Like everybody says, the Ford guys probably spent 50 bucks on the whole sound system in here. So I don't know how good the signal is coming out of this, but it sounds amazing to me. My previous truck was a 99 F150, and I spent about $2 grand in the stereo system, so I would know what a good stereo system sounds like, and this is pretty good. I think it can definitely get better though with aftermarket head unit and some good RCAs running back to the amp for the signal. No problems though. It was real easy. You know, the 2015 really easy to install as far as nice path to get your 9-wire up in here. Everything comes apart real easy, you know, to run your wire. This is real easy to take apart, and you're actually going to be tying into the CD player down here, not the screen right here. That's what I thought I would be tying into, and I was really confused when I cracked it open and saw all the wires. And that's why it took me a while. I had all this installed and I didn't get to tie it in because I was confused on what I needed to tie in to get my signal, until I finally came across this forum on the F150 forums, which I'll post a picture of the title of that, which a guy did pretty much the same thing, which really shed some light on what exactly I needed to do. So I took another few hours and tied it in, and thank God everything works, no problem. Subs sound great, speakers sound great. So I definitely recommend this setup for people that are thinking about doing something like this versus spending, you know, the $1,000 or whatever kicker wants on their little 8-inch tuck behind. Because to me, this is real simple. If you know you're going to be hauling something back there, you know, just disconnect it from the amp and pull the sub box out and you're set. You know, it doesn't take up a lot of space, and it's easy enough to do the install. You can buy the plug and play harness. You just gotta cut the harness, the additional harness you buy, in half, and then run your 9-wire from that back to your amp, and you're set. There's your signal. Like I said, the biggest thing was running speaker wire for these guys, and again, I don't recommend it, but if you really want to, you know, if you're planning on going big, you can definitely do it. It is doable, but it's gonna take some time, and try to do it in the AC, because I got burned out on it real quick. I'll just talk about the power wire really quick, and that'll be it. So that's how I got it. You know, a lot of people, I guess, are saying go over there. You don't need to do that. In that form, I believe he went the same route I did. There is a little grommet hole. I don't know if you can see it. Try to get it. You can barely see it. It's right behind here. It is a challenge. They got the carpet, you know, once you pop that grommet out, the carpet behind there is pretty damn thick, and I had to use a little I used several things. I used a drill bit to poke in there and scratch around. I used a little carpet knife, the skinny long ones, to kind of hack at it and then run the drill bit through there. But I eventually got it, and that definitely is something I would recommend instead of going way over there. I heard of some people running out of wire and all that. You got plenty if you go this route. So other than that, real happy with the install, real happy with the product. And just wanted to make this video and shed some light on the install, because I know the 2015s, there's not a lot of stuff. Fortunately, there is some forums online if you really hunt them down. And hopefully I'll get this video out, and if you guys have any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer them. Thanks. Alright, for some reason the pictures aren't loading on my little GoPro video editor, so I'm just going to go through them this way. 6.5 door speaker with the factory shroud installed around it, so you got a nice seal on all your speakers. I reused the shrouds on the 6x9 and the 6.5s. Easy. This factory speaker, you can tell, real small magnet, real cheap. What you want to do is just cut these and cut the surround right here to reuse the factory one. This is the new one with the factory surround installed. This is the old speaker. This one of the 6.5s with one of these grills that they come with. You cannot install it with this grill. This is for surface mount, not behind the door. This is a picture of it installed. This is what I was talking about in the video, running your speaker wire through here. On the rear, there's only one being used, so you have the whole bottom to just drill a hole and then run your speaker wire through there. This is the new 6.5 with the factory mounting bracket. Another picture there. And to pull this off, this is a picture of what goes into this. And to pull this off, there's pins right here on the top and on the bottom that you got to compress to pull this thing out. Just take your time and look at it, and you'll figure it out. Picture of the subs, 210s, 2016 CVTs. Snake in my garage when I was looking for something on my for the install. Kind of scared me there. This is the harness that you're gonna get. See, doesn't show the name of it. This is installed in 2015. And this is it right here. That's the harness that you'll get from Amazon. It's like 60 bucks. Don't mind all this. If you're doing it like me, you're just going to use this piece right here. I'll show you on the next one. This is just another pic from the forums that I got. So this is the important one. This is the harness that you're going to get. This is where you're going to cut it right here. Okay, don't worry about all this. This isn't going to get used. You're just going to cut this right here. And these are all your wires, your front left, front right, rear left, rear right, that you're going to tie into your 9 wire that you ran to the head unit, and the 9 wire will go back to your amplifier, and that's where you'll hook your Kissel onto that 9-wire and then plug it into the amplifier. And what I did is I just used the rear left and the rear right, and I tied them the rears together for the subwoofer signal. So you'll have front left, front right going into the front, and then the rear left and rear right, the signal gets tied together on the Kissels. So you have signal going to the sub, because you got a 5-channel amp going to the sub and going to the rear. So that's your 2, 4, and 6 RCAs that you'll need for signal. This is the forum name. Type that in. You can read up and follow this guy. Pretty much same installation, just a little bit different as far as what he installed. This is a picture of the center channel factory and aftermarket. So how I installed my center channel, I just cut the factory harness and then wired it in. So this is getting ran off the head unit. The factory one was 8 ohms. This is 4 ohms, so should be receiving a little bit more power. Sounds fine, you know. If I need to, I can hook it up going off my amplifier in the future, but it sounds fine, so I don't think it's needed. I'll just leave it as it is right now. This is the 5-channel speaker. I'm sorry, the center channel speaker installed. Use the factory holes there. It's a picture of when I pulled it out. This is your 9-wire coming into your dash. And then this goes into where you saw where we're tying in to the harness right here. This will plug into your factory, and this will plug into the deck, and you just tie in the signal right there, and then everything else you can just pile in the back there. All this right here isn't used. I didn't feel like cutting it, so I just piled it all back in there. You should be good. Just showing it installed there. Subs. Showing you different angles of how I built my box. This is everything I used. 2016, you know, 2 2016 10-inch CVTs, 2016 amplifier, the 600 by 5. You got your 3 kicker Kissels from the high to the low RCAs. That's where you're going to plug into your amplifier. Got the 12 gauge going to my subwoofers. That's my 9-wire package, I believe. You got your bass control tweeters, 6x9s. This is your center channel speaker that I used. It came with 2, so I'm going to probably put 1 in my boat. And these are your 6.5 door speakers. Everything worked out great. That's a factory tweeter. Just a picture of what it looked like. This is what it looks like when you pull it off. Has these mounting holes right here. That's the kicker tweeter there. This is how I installed my kicker tweeter, because you can't reuse the tweeter bracket. This is just a plastic shim that I had, hard plastic. Doesn't flex a lot, so I just pre-drilled a couple holes, and then the tweeter sticks up, so the force from this being screwed down in there holds it nice and snug. Worked out good. This is a factory 6x9. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut right around here. You can pull the foam off or leave it. I would probably just leave it if you can. Just cut right around here and cut all that. Cut that out. This is in the front there. This is the top and bottom I was talking about. So you don't have enough room up in here to drill through to run your speaker wire. So what I had to do is take a drill bit and drill along this side. It kind of concaves in here. I just drilled that out nice and carefully all along this side right here, and laid my speaker wire in there before I put it all back, and it worked out. This is the back of the factory speaker. So what you're going to do is cut. I used pliers. I just broke it right here. Break all these plastic off, the plastic barbs right here, the framing for the speaker there. Just cut or break all that off. You can use an angle grinder. I use that as well. Worked out good. And you're going to be reusing this for your new speaker to get a nice seal. That's the new 6x9. This is the factory mounting bracket with the new 6x9 installed. That is a picture of it installed on the door. Door panels come off easy. There's a little tab when you pull the connectors off to pull the lock wire off. The forget the name of it. Your little for the latch wire there. There's little tabs at the very bottom. If you look, you got to push it and it'll release that tab so you can get the door panel out of your way if you want. Another picture of it installed, nice and clean, factory, no bullshit wires running. It's all ran through here and then down and in. This is where most of your time is going to be running your new wires to these speakers. If you want it, this install will be a breeze if you just use the factory harness right here and just use that. Just running the wires here. I got my power wire, speaker wires. There's a little plastic tray in here that I use to separate power wire and the speaker wires. And this is a picture of the factory tweeter, how they had it installed. And that's it. Guys, got any questions, let me know.